नमस्कार व्यूअर्स। आज हमारे साथ कृष्णन जी ज्वाइन किए हैं और कृष्णन जी किसी कारणवश अपनी इमेज को नहीं दिखाना चाहते हैं। वो शून्य और ब्लैक होल के पीछे बैठे हुए हैं और वहाँ से वो बातचीत करेंगे। तो आज का जो विषय है, टॉपिक है, हम लोग और ये चित्र मेरा ही है, कृष्णन जी का नहीं है जो आप देख रहे हैं। कैमेरो कार है अमेरिका का, और ऑब्वियसली जब अमेरिका की बात हो रही है और अमेरिका की कार की बात हो रही है तो ऑब्वियसली हम लोग अलास्का में जो अभी डोनाल्ड ट्रंप और पुतिन का जो, आप अपना म्यूट कर लीजिए कृष्णन जी, आपका 2 फोन से बज रहा है। तो अलास्का में जब पुतिन और ट्रंप का जो मिलना हुआ और दुनिया ने देखा, और उसके बाद आज या इस वीक, मंडे कमिंग वीक में बेसिकली यूरोप के 6 नेता, जर्मनी, यूके, फ्रांस, इटली, यूरोपियन यूनियन की उर्सुला जी, और एक और देश है, शायद डेनमार्क है या स्वीडन है या नॉर्वे है, ऐसे कुछ तीनों में से एक देश कोई है, वहाँ के राष्ट्राध्यक्ष अलॉन्ग विद ज़ेलेंस्की पहुँच रहे हैं टू डिस्कस। पुतिन ने मांगा है डॉनबास के एरिया, जहाँ ओडेसा जो उनका एक पोर्ट है ब्लैक सी में, जो कि एक बहुत बड़ा आर्थिक क्षेत्र बनने वाला है, उसको वो नहीं छोड़ रहे हैं। तो ट्रंप और इंडिया पोस्ट अलास्का समिट, क्या कंफ्यूजन है, क्या क्लैरिटी है, स्पष्टता और भ्रम की इस द्वंद में हम कृष्णन जी से सुनेंगे उनका विचार। तो कृष्णन जी, आप अनम्यूट करके बोलिए।
धन्यवाद शरद जी. It is because of some technical reasons that my face is not visible, but thanks you that still you have permitted me to continue. आपका टॉपिक बहुत ही रिलेवेंट है, no doubt. Putin and Trump. I am starting with Putin, not with Trump. There is reason behind this, because from whatever it is written in the media or it has been reported, Putin has perhaps stolen the show from Trump. It appears like that. I'm, just a novice to comment like this, but please allow me to make this comment. So before I move to your topic that Trump and Putin post Alaska, what are the confusions and clarity about India? Let me say it very clearly that there is no confusion about the fact that Putin has overshadowed Trump in this Alaska meet, and not only he has succeeded in discarding the global pariah tag which was imposed on him because of this Ukraine invasion. He has simply set it off, and he must thank Trump for this. And if you see historically also, since you are a chronicler of history, American history, you must have seen that Trump and his cohorts were never against Russia. In fact, they were all the time opposing that why we got involved in so many wars, and what happened after 2016, which soured the relationship between America and Russia. In fact, even after coming to power for the last almost 9 months, Trump is only saying so many things, but has not actually done very harmful sanctions on Russia. In fact, it is all done by Joe Biden and his administration, which he is simply carrying and trying to probe it through his, I would say, mannerism, charismatic presence, or high-handedness, whatever way may people will like to say it. Coming back to India, see, one of the preconditions, rather, I would say that definitely precondition that Trump had suggested before moving to Russia, and he was not commenting, more on Ukraine. Rather, he was commenting more on India. Like, see, I'm going to double down on Indian sanctions. People who buy oil from Russia, they would have to pay double penalty. I can do this, I can do that, right? But subsequently, it so happened that the meeting has actually muddied the water further for India, in the sense that the post-meet conference by both the top leaders, I hardly remember anything they said about India. It was all about Ukraine, and Russia firmly put its position there, right? So I am not sure whether this meeting was actually meant for uh, any Indian solution on tariff. It was basically meant for Ukraine and Russia and America's role in that, or maybe the NATO, what's for that matter. So for me, the Indian position vis-a-vis Russia, as propounded by America, remains still unknown. what would happen, because even post this meet conference, the leaders have only talked. I mean, if I have to talk about Trump, he has clearly told that he's going to talk to NATO in the coming days. Zelensky is coming to Washington, or maybe to meet somewhere, this week itself. So the focus was entirely on Ukraine. So I think there is no clarity on how this meeting was progressing, especially on Indian position. And when I say Indian position, it is only about Indian tariff positions per se. That is my view.
Okay. So one question I have is for Indian diaspora and Indian citizens who, and especially Krishnan, if I think you are based out of India, don't you think that what Putin did, like he came from a winning situation, even though he was under the pressure, and you had rightly mentioned he was called a global pariah, and all those sanctions, everything exists, and because of that, even India has to face the double sanction, right? Because we are trading with a sanctioned country. Now, in midst of all of those, Putin still held his stature, and he did not bend in negotiation, the art of negotiation. आपके नेताओं ने स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम इंदिरा जी इन 71 टू 48, आपने सारे वॉर जीता और नेगोशिएशन टेबल पे आप हार गए. दिस Putin step should be taught in every management and strategic business strategic school of Bharat or India, where politicians should learn to rise from their petty politics, and both across the aisle, whether government or in the opposition, and learn the art of negotiation, because Rashtra is paramount. You are nothing in front of a nation. Your party is nothing. That applies to all. What is your say on this?
First of all, let me counter the very fact that our leaders, they have always lost, or they need to learn. Of course, everyone needs to learn. There is no doubt about that. And most importantly, since you mentioned about past and the current, and how our leaders should learn the art of negotiation in front of world leaders, in the light of sanctions, in the light of threats and whatsoever, the point is very simple. Every leader behaves as a situational leader, right? The situations which were there in the 50s, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or maybe in the now adulthood of 20s, which has come. 25 years of 21st century means this century is moving to its adulthood, right? So every leader has to behave exactly as per the situation, as per the time demands, right? So whatever our board leaders did, I would not counter that. They have done their best given the situation, given the constraints, given the opportunity, whatever you may say. So in my current generation of leaders also, now if we have to mention Mr. Modi, I think he has held his ground very diplomatically in a matured way. His reactions are slow, still to come, and he has kept a sense of, I would say, suspense and sustainability, because obviously he cannot go overboard like superpowers that I would do that. He is behaving in a much matured way. There is something called studied silence. His back office channels are still working very hard, and they're also trying to sense that how best we can avoid a confrontation. See, understand, whether it is globalization, or whether it is bipolar bilateral arrangements. See, it doesn't move on confrontation. Anyone can confront, right? But the result of that confrontation is not cooperation. It leads only to bitterness. So it's better that we hold our ground for some more time. Let us continue with our studied silence. Let us continue with our whatever you say back office channels to continue, and then arrive at a mutually beneficial solutions, which is, they say, win-win situation for all. So if you want to say that what our leaders will learn, they are learning. See, it's not that no one is perfectly intelligent or anything else. They are learning, and their learning is evident in the sense that, you see, despite Trump's threats or whammies or statements, India has not faced the backlash, right? See, there is something called backlash, like some North Korean and other countries are facing from American side, right? It's not the case with India, because both sides understand the importance of each other, and they know the threat cannot work Of course, we have not retaliated like China that the language of trade would not work here, right? We are not saying that. We are moving ahead because we need partners in trade. Trade cannot be one way, right? So if you are talking about learning, every nation, every leader has to learn, and it's a continuous process. There ends my argument for you.
Okay, thank you. But I have a view that the so-called leaders' learning cannot be on the cost of the nation. When we won Bangladesh, and today we are having a problem with Bangladesh because some Pakistani general, jo self-appointed field marshal now, he has said that this time the military action will be from east, and we had won Bangladesh, we created Bangladesh, and still we left chicken neck and all those harbors. So you cannot learn on the cost of the nation. So your generosity is won't be appreciated when it comes to the nation. But again, moving on to the next
No,
topic.
no, Mr. Sarat, before you move on, let me complete this. When you said that some self-appointed field marshals of Pakistan has said something, you must have seen the response of our armed forces, even our defense minister and Ministry of External Affairs experts also. See, they have been given the response which they deserve. I would not like to go into details. It is available on media, social media, public platform. It is available. It's not that we are not aware, but see, there is a way. We should not react to every situation. We should decide when, where, and how to react. Right? We would react, and we have shown them the reaction through our Operation Sindoor, or even in the past, as you mentioned, Bangladesh by partition, what we have done. So they know what will be the response. Let people say we would react, our leaders would react definitely in time. And for them, whether anyone likes one leader or not, one point is very much clear that in India, leadership is a cult position, and no leader can do anything at the cost of the nation because it would only bring perils to them, not to the nation. India as a nation is very strong, and its leaders are also very strong. You have to believe in their leadership.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree here, but we'll move on to the next topic, which is the financial impact on India. Um, Assuming Putin and America goes in an agreement, then that will push China outside the circle, and then China will have to either ally with the European nation, because Europe will is also very edgy, because Europe can never compromise with Russia. They have a genetic problem with Russia. So Europe will be edgy, and Europe China will be a new alliance. India in both the sense is right now not wanted in both the clubs because it has no value or very less value compared to in this if this new situation develops where two formation happens. For India, both of these two uh, grouping will rather focus on Pakistan because of its geopolitical positioning and it being the central point for Middle East, Iran. So it leaves India in a very, very bad situation because you are neither here nor there. Your economy is still booming. You are not even 7 to 10 trillion where you can start flexing your muscles, right? तो आप कहाँ हैं मेरे भाई? You are like, कहीं नहीं है आप. चाहे irrespective of whichever government comes, आप अभी कहीं नहीं है. Your
Uh,
observation.
Please let me come before you go further because uh, it appears totally biased view. I would say photochromatic view you are having. You are having one color of glasses and you are saying India. I would start from the last question, right? If you see, you said that the Indian economy is not booming, right? Let me say, just 2 days back, your own Western rating agency has upgraded India's rating from triple B minus to triple B, right? So this is not done under any duress, right? It is only just a recognition of the fact that Indian economy remains strong, resilient, right? And most importantly, it still remains a potential, potential magnet for many of the industries which may come here. So that point I have just answered by way of rating that whether it is booming or not, right? Our GDP growth rate, everything is well known. But only recently we have been just 2 days back after this, 1 month of Trump's tariff rates, some I think it is the Standard and Poor which has upgraded the rating of India. That is one point. Second point you said about Pakistan, it's a threat. You know, since the day Pakistan was born, it has been a threat to India, right? But you have seen how India has handled it for the last 50 years, my dear. You have seen it. So this threat doesn't perturb us, right? As I said, if someone wants to disturb India, it would be only at the cost of their own peril. Indian economy, Indian nation, Indian army, Indian defense force, Indian political leader. You can criticize them, right? But they know how to handle the situation very well. Now coming to your first question, when China, whether Russia and America coming together, how it will impact India and China. See, Russia, if you see what it is to NATO, it is to India also. It is mainly energy supplier to NATO as well as India. Russia has never been an arms supplier to NATO countries or European countries, right? Same thing has been true for China also. China has not purchased, to that extent, in my limited knowledge, arms and ammunition from Russia. So it is only the energy which would, keep them together. Indian economy is dependent mostly for energy supply from Russia and to some extent fertilizers, right? Nothing much comes from there. It is the wide spectrum of trade happens with China, where there is no energy constraint, right? But we are dependent upon many of the manufacturing sector on China. With America, our trade gamut, trade spectrum is again a bit of a bit diversified because we need each other's market. See, in Russia, if you see, we are net importer, but in case of America, you must have seen we are net exporter. That means we are earning more than we are spending on America. Like whether it is pharma, whether it is auto, whether it is electronic semi, or I will not use the semiconductor, but electronics items. So it's not that the circle which comes to front with Putin and Trump coming together, or maybe Russia and China, America coming together. Again, India has lived with them as a non-aligned member, and it has successfully, navigated in the last 30 years. So there is no problem. See, whatever situation you are imagining, it all has happened in the past, and Indian economy, Indian nation, Indian leadership has navigated it very successfully. So there is nothing to worry. Indian economy remains on a stellar growth path. Right now, we may not be 5 trillion, 10 trillion, or any other economy, but that route is, we are already on that route, right? I would not give the numbers because numbers would confuse the readers much more about trillion and billion, multi-trillion economies. But you see the GDP growth rate, the rating upgrades, the trade surplus which we are having with America. So who needs? When I am having surplus, I can definitely have measures to reduce my deficit, but the trade cannot go to zero. Right now, even from the ramparts of Red Fort, our Prime Minister has said that they are going to rationalize GST. What is this? This is meant towards giving some concessions, some benefits, some subsidies, some incentives, some support to the sectors which may be impacted by these American tariffs. So it's too premature, too early to come to a judgment. Let us hold our breath for some more time, Saraji.
Nice. तो व्यूअर्स आप सुन रहे हैं थोड़ा पैशन क्वेश्चन को थोड़ा पैशन में आंसर करना माय होल इंटेंशन एज एन एंकर वाज टू draw out the right reaction from the panelist जो कि अपने चेहरे को अभी भी नहीं दिखा पा रहे हैं टेक्निकल रीजन से but yes, we all wish good for India. We know the India's potential. Problem is कि not potential नहीं है या GDP rise नहीं कर रहा है. It has to be compared and measured. कोई भी success arbitrary नहीं हो सकता है. It has to have a measurement. And what are the yardstick? जब आप एक budding nation थे तो and again this so-called non-aligned is a dead concept. So I don't agree with your that word से ही मुझे अब problem है. There's nothing called non-aligned. You are aligned to your national interest. So and you have to be greedy and very very selfish when it comes to national interest. So having said that, India has
No,
a great
since we are discussing in
wait,
English, Mr. Sir, let me say
sir, one
that
second.
no, I have to get greedy. We need not be selfish. We have
Pawanji, I have muted you. The panel anchor has to finish his thought and then you can counter. You cannot counter in between. So please hold on. I will give you that opportunity. I'm not rushing away. I'm not moving away. So what I'm saying is definitely we have to be greedy. It is my view. on our national interest, that you cannot be non-aligned. आप कोई देता नहीं है free में, ठीक है? That is the thinking of the anchor here, right? And then I will like to have your response. So now you have time to speak.
See, my point is very simple. Greedy is not the concept, which would run in the current scenario. We all have to be, we have seen how the world has moved from, monolithic stage to, I would say, bipartisan, then multilateralism, then globalization. And it is again coming back to, one-on-one, or you say, I mean, national interest. So national interest is not greed. National interest is self-interest. You're focusing on self-interest. So India is focusing on its interest. And in the bargain, if it has to make some sacrifices, it has to make some tough choices, it has to make some friends, some enemies, let us, hope and believe that our leadership would take the right decision at the right time. Why to hurry? Number one, I have been emphasizing why to hurry. No country, or as you said, measurement, no success, no failure is final. You also know, right? It is only technical and relative. As of now, our economy is growing, we are robust, and we are sure that we would also weather this storm of tariff, right? And a mutual solution would be found. Why are you in a hurry, my dear? We are totally focused on our interest. That is why there is no hurry. We are not subjugating ourselves. We are not subventing anything. We are only waiting for the right moment, not to strike. We are waiting at the right moment only to start a discussion, right? Not to strike a deal. Start a discussion which would be beneficial for both the sides. So let us hold. We would have multiple opportunity to discuss this as the things unfold gradually, like the day unfolds after morning. Let us wait.
Again, we agree to disagree here, because hurry, time, all those things depends upon किसका पेट भरा है, किसका पेट नहीं भरा है, और India still feeds almost 80 crore of your population daily on the government grant खाने के लिए. So India has to definitely step up. So if somebody is financially well settled, doesn't mean कि पूरा इंडिया के पास टाइम है, इतना पेशेंस है. So that was the thought process behind why a nation should, and I'll give you opportunity to speak on that counter, but let me finish my last thought here. Viewers, Bharat definitely is a global, going to be a global contributor, one of the big nation from size perspective, from lot of soft power, like the way NRIs are spread across the globe, the way Indian culture, values, education, khan pan, music, everything is spread across, and that's a soft image of India which the diaspora is doing. But now it is a time when the citizens who are in India, they need to do some cleanup, right? 4 or 5 things is definitely very, very missing in Bharat or Hindustan, which is the cleanliness, your very, very uh, uh, traffic jam cities, right? Some of the initial problem, and the social security if you want to boost your tourism sector, where everybody, whoever comes, like we have seen how the Japanese tourists went through that hell and all those type of things. Again, in a big nation it happens, but again अभी आप टूरिस्ट को अट्रैक्ट करने के मोड में हैं. So there are a lot of things. Then every state has their own policies, there's no coordination. आपका सब, so these are the challenges. And as a resident, and since you travel a lot in a capital city, financial capital city of India, what are the things you think you guys as a citizen could help? Because there's a lot of expectation. NRIs ने ऐसे नहीं किया, NRIs ने वैसे नहीं किया, ट्रम्प के अगेंस्ट में कुछ बोला नहीं. But what about our brothers who are there, like you? What are you guys doing to take your country to the next level, other than the politicians and the policymakers? Krishna ji, will end this with you. आप बोलिए.
See, I again taking your word, what you said. Let me agree to disagree with you, right? In the sense that the points which you have mentioned, they cannot be identified with the nations, right? Culture or conscience, like hygiene, as you said, traffic jam. It may be, a summer problem, right? it may be because of multiple times it is because of individual issues, right? As in how, because I can show you one person in the same building who is completely hygienic, 100% you would give mark. Another person is not even 80%, someone maybe 70%. So it's an individual choice which people have to definitely learn to behave in such a way that it benefits and showcases the entire society in a good light, whether it is hygiene, cleanliness, or traffic jam. See, like as a person, not only I don't litter on the ground, but whenever I see someone is doing that, I try to correct that situation, either by interacting with that fellow or with by taking the dirty work, like our Modi's Prime Minister has also been doing. He has, you have seen him taking on beaches, plastic packets through his own hands, right? So it's not that it is a question about individual conscience and how he behaves, because there cannot be any rules and regulations per se for this. And for that, I would I draw strength from the fact that our country is culturally rich, and sooner or later this would also dissipate. As you said, coordination between states and central government. India has been a federal country, and it thrives upon diversity. Multiple states are having and center are having different type of step political installation running the country and running the states. But there has not been any issues like what America has been facing. I think which Colombia or somewhere it is facing, where federal forces have to be used. So we are not in that situation. So let me counter by doing that. Let us not put fingers at others. Let us set our own house in order. That is true for you, that is true for us also. We are aware of what we are lacking, and as if, as you said, the person who is moving in metros, one thing I am telling you, that the country is now totally focused upon everything which is moving on one nation concept, whether it is on hygiene. The Prime Minister, he himself launched Swachh Bharat mission, right? Swachh Ganga mission, so many mission. See, a leadership can only give you direction. How we travel that distance, that is up to us, and there we are working our conscience and working collective approaches to get things right. Second, coming to coordination part, once again, if you see, there are so many concepts coming: one nation, one rank, one nation, one election, right? Of course, we are not going to one nation, one language, because we are a country of multiple languages across, spread across different regions. So we cannot move on that. But the diversity is there, and from that diversity, we are trying to bring our oneness, which would definitely make this oneness would make us number one sometimes. As I said, I am repeating throughout this discussion. Please hold your breath. The time is coming for India to showcase its entire potentials and believe in the citizens, because India gave the world the meaning of education, and the Indian nation and its conscience knows what is value of education, and it is through education only that we can surmount all the problems and become champion in all the fields, whether it's trade, education, defense, whatever. It's the basic thrust, basic need is education. And I know that you yourself are an educationist. So you would agree that the power of education is much more known and widespread in India than in any other part of the world. Thank you.
ठीक है, thank you very much. So viewers, आप सुन रहे थे, the whole purpose of provoking was to draw the right response, और जो आपको अच्छा लगेगा. We are all very proud of Bharat, and जो हमने प्रश्न किया कृष्णन जी से was to draw the attention, the passion. भारतीय से भारत को बाहर नहीं निकाल सकते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट द सिविलाइजेशन कंट्री मीन्स, क्योंकि ये आर्टिफिशियल ज्योग्राफी से बना हुआ देश नहीं है, ये सिविलाइजेशनल कंट्री है. एंड दैट इज व्हाट द होल पर्पस ऑफ दिस इंटरेक्शन विद मिस्टर कृष्णन वाज. सो मिस्टर कृष्णन जी, धन्यवाद वेरी मच. भारत हमेशा आगे बढ़ेगी. वी आर सो 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 प्राउड एंड फॉर्चुनेट कि हम उस देश से कनेक्टेड हैं और वहाँ से आते हैं. तो आई एम सो प्राउड ऑफ इंडिया. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
धन्यवाद. आपके व्यूअर्स को भी नमस्कार. शुभ रात्रि.